Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about tips for PhD research seminars. If you don't know, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can, because there are so many people that actually helped me out along the way, and particularly in getting my PhD degree. So here are some tips that I think you might feel useful that I personally learned about PhD research seminars. So the first thing is you can invite people to give a research talk at your university, particularly if you're doing a research thing in one area and you find that their research is really interesting. You can just reach out to them and ask them. So if they're in the near vicinity, if they're within a couple of hours, it's very likely that they might come out and sort of share their thoughts and stuff like that. But if it's a long ways away, then obviously you would have to sort of clear this with your university to get like travel funding and things like that. That always helps. A lot of universities, particularly the major universities, will try to figure out some way to entice people to go there, not sort of pay for the presentation or anything like that, but maybe it's paying for a hotel stay or something like that. That really is important, particularly if people are coming a long ways away. And a lot of times sometimes people will just be nice and they will show up, but if it's within the immediate vicinity, they'll do that. So number 2, when you're in a research seminar, it is absolutely okay to ask a few questions. So you want to have a balance, right? So if you ask too few questions, it sounds like crickets. And then they're like, what's going on here? This is not really all that interesting. And then if you ask too many questions, then it feels very aggressive. So you have to find that fine line. And it's hard to find where that lies and what you should sort of do. But just know that a few questions is okay to ask. And some of the questions you want to ask are really related to things like clarification, things that you just truly don't understand, or how something actually works. You'd be surprised how many people just kind of sit in a research presentation and kind of just cash out and are not really following along. A lot of people just don't do that, right? Like they just don't pay attention to what's going on. So if you are that type of person that can follow along and anticipate sort of clarification questions, by all means ask them. I'm sure that there's one or two other people that are asking the same thing. And it also gives the presenter a moment of like, okay, I have to clarify this a little bit more in the paper. And then number sort of 4 that's important to think about is that absolutely everybody is nervous presenting. I don't care who you are and who you say what kind of person you are. You're going to be nervous when you get up there. So you want to try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. So we'll try to make it a little bit light if you can. Sometimes it's hard to do when you're asking about critical questions and things like that. So that's an important thing. And this is the 5th thing that is related to this. It's really about being constructive and sort of leading a PhD research seminar to be constructive and developmental as a whole. So, whether it is sort of pointing out particular things that are going on in that presentation that's going on, but you also want to sort of show that maybe this is the way to actually that research in this area should be done, right? So you're trying to be very constructive and developmental as you possibly can, and always sort of emphasize that rather than sort of the aggressive attacks. That's you want to just be careful that doesn't happen, and you're being kind of lighthearted and things like that, and sort of helping somebody going forward. And this is related to the 6th thing that I was thinking about, is you really want to look at the bigger picture. And so often with these research presentations and like just papers and stuff like that, there's going to be a lot of little individual problems. And it's up to you to, you could pay attention to those and focus on those, but generally I feel that those are not necessarily all that important. You want to look at the bigger picture of where they're going to and try to be as developmental as possible of where they're going to and what it can be. So often as a research presentation, or a presenter or somebody that's writing a paper, you don't necessarily know how good your paper is until other people look at it and they see sort of things in it that you don't see. And that's a really good reviewer or a really good sort of critiquer. They're going to look at that kind of stuff and they're going to sort of say, you know what, there's something amazing here. And I could see if you went this way, it would be all the much better. And that person is truly wonderful to find somebody like that. So think about whether you want to be that. And then the seventh thing, and this is important, is you want to do a combination of things. You want to love on the research a little bit and love on what they're trying to do, but then as well as you want to hate on it a little bit, right? So you want to always make sure that you have this sort of mixed bag of, there's some amazing things that are happening there, but then there's also, maybe we can improve this just a little bit by doing X, Y, and Z, and then come back to how much you actually love this particular research. If you have a comment like that or a question like that sometimes it's easier to take, and I know that seems really strange, but it's true. It's easier to take for somebody that's actually listening to you if they are, if they say that you say that this is wonderful stuff, but then you also give them a little bit of a critique at the same time after that. So that's it. Hopefully that these tips are very useful for you for your own research seminars. Again, you can go out and build your own research seminars. Absolutely possible for you to do. You just got to invite people out. You should ask some questions, try not to be too aggressive, and try to make people feel sort of comfortable, and just try to be as developmental as you possibly can and sort of see the bigger picture when you do anything like this for the presenter. So hopefully that's useful. If you do like this video, give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.